In today's episode, David Alvarado and I talk quite a bit about the FinTech world and how getting instant access to your pay is almost a non-starter for people applying for jobs in today's day and age. More and more retailers, restaurants, and different offline brands are offering this. I was just traveling recently and I saw one of the help wanted ads talk about work today, get paid this afternoon. And Instant is a product that can help you get there. This is the second time we've had Instant on the show. They do some great stuff in the restaurant space. They've been around for, they're one of the longest standing people that's been doing same day pay. So they've gone through their paces. They're in quite a few large brands. And so if you haven't checked them out already, I would encourage it. If you don't know me, my name is Julian. I am the Chief Revenue Officer for CBS Northstar. We sell the Northstar point of sale product for multi-units. Please check us out at cbsnorthstar.com. And now on to our episode. Welcome back to the Restaurant Technology Guys podcast. Thank you everyone out there for joining us. As I say each and every time, I know you guys have got lots of choices, so thanks for hanging out. Today, we are having a brand new face, but a similar concept, or not even a similar concept, but a concept that we talked about maybe 18 months ago. But it's really taking the restaurant space by storm. And I think it's something that all of our restaurant operators need to know about, because not only hiring and retaining the employees, and as well as just kind of simplifying their lives. And so I am joined today by David Alvarado. David, why don't you give our listeners a little bit of an insight as to who you are? We got a chance to meet on camera just a little bit ago, and I'm excited for everybody to hear your story because it's going to give validity to why you're at Instant and what Instant can do for people. And then we can dig into how Instant really is solving a lot of problems that are challenges out there for the restaurant space.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate your time, and it's a pleasure to be on your show. My name is David Alvarado, originally from Michigan, moved to Florida many years ago. So I reside in Tampa, Florida with my 3 miniature dachshunds. I spent my career at Bloomin' Brands primarily for 22 and a half years, working my way up from a busboy all the way to a global vice president. I really learned my restaurant technology and everything about restaurants at my family's restaurants in Michigan. We had a Mexican restaurant. I grew up in it. People didn't show up. We had to go to work. We cooked, we cleaned, everything that goes along with the joys of a family restaurant. I then transitioned that to Outback Steakhouse. I was a senior in high school. I wanted to make money for prom. I needed $75 to buy prom tickets. I went and applied at Outback Steakhouse. I was hired as a busboy, and over 22 and a half years, I worked lots of different positions and watched the company grow, not only domestically, but also internationally. Seeing all the challenges in the restaurant industry, from my family restaurant to a multi-chain that was international, moving to the corporate office here in Tampa, and then seeing the challenges at the restaurant level from an enterprise standpoint, that really connected the dots from working at a family place, working in a corporate chain, and then being at the corporate office. I got to see all of the opportunities magnified and what it really meant to the restaurant business. After my career at Bloomin' Brands, I joined the founding team at Instant Financial, where we provide and move wages for employees. As an example, we enable daily pay for non-tipped employees so they can go to work and they can get paid daily and they can go handle life's challenges. Or we have a tips prop module, which we can move tips digitally as well. I love the restaurant industry. I wanted to be a part of it, taking all of my knowledge from corporate and joined Instant Financial. And I'm very excited to walk you through all the ways we can help restaurant operators. And this does not mean people who are enterprise. Yes, enterprise, we can help them at scale and help them to capture efficiencies. But if you're a regional player, we can absolutely help you just as well. So I'm very excited to talk about that.
I love that. And I say it all the time. I've got 3 teenagers, and I tease that all of them should have to work in the restaurants at some time, because you know what? The world would be a better place if everybody had to serve the public. And I know you and I talked a little bit about the wild ride that Bloomin' went on, that Outback success story. And I were trading a little bit of war stories. So I'm sure you've seen a lot. We talked about Instant at a high level, or I just had shared that I think it's something that all restaurants are going to need, whether it's an individual owner operator all the way up and through. But I think you guys really started at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning, was really earned wages. And so why don't you tell us 22 years ago when you started at Outback, how did that work when you were that busboy? Because you needed to be able to get paid to be able to. So let's go back to what it used to be and then why Instant needed to get created, because I think it's enablement on the digital side that in the past we just had in a different way. So talk to me a little bit about kind of what is earned wages, because I think that's really the inception of where Instant came from
Yeah.
prior to the tips module.
So let's talk about earned wages and how it applies to everybody in the restaurant industry. Earned wages is just merely giving you access to the money that you've already made. So if you worked 8 hours today and you made $80, we're going to go ahead and make you an offer after your shift for $40. And if you would like your money, you can accept it. You can go spend it on our Visa card. You can transfer it for free. We have virtual cards. You can do anything you want. Your money's not held hostage. Traditionally, if an employee would like their funds, especially if they're a non-tipped employee, they would have to wait till payday. Okay. And if an employee wanted to get paid more often, the business needs to run payroll more frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order for an employee to get paid, they work a cycle of hours. They then get a check at the end of the pay period. As we know, in the past 25 years, with the rise of digital technology, we now get bills all the time. Bills 25, 30 years ago used to come on the 1st, on the 15th. You could plan your check or your pay periods to accommodate those bills. Now, bills come every day to us on email, they're text to us, and they're due on different cycles. So now we're not getting paid when we need our money to pay our cycle for our bill.
Mm-hmm.
So with instant pay, if an employee needed money and they didn't have it, they would have to borrow from family and friends, maybe borrow from the business, which is very common to see a lot of IOUs in the safe. They may not have access to credit. And then eventually, if all those things are unavailable to them, they will have to go to a predatory network like a payday loan lender, which is going to charge them huge fees and huge amounts of interest. So the need for an employee to have their money to go do what they want to go do is relevant, and employees do want their money. They want to go buy a tank of gas, a bag of groceries. They want to go to CVS or Walgreens and take care of whatever they need to.
Yeah, they got a flat tire and they need to be able to get to work to be able to work that next shift, and they're
And
stuck and they can't wait till the next payday to get their tire fixed.
it's small amounts of liquidity. So it's little bit just to get through the day and whatever the case may be. And it's very Pavlov. So before you'd go to work and you'd work 10 days and you'd have to wait for your paycheck 4 days later. But with Instant, if I need my money, I go to work, I get paid. If I need more money tomorrow, I go to work, I get paid. So it changes the relationship between the employee and the business to become more symbiotic, which is I now have the instant gratification of getting my money when I need it for free, okay, and being able to go take care of whatever I need to. For the business, this turns around everything because restaurant operators spend 15 to 20 minutes a day calling people up saying, hey, would you like to come to work today? I had somebody no call, no show. When
Mm-hmm.
we implemented earned wage access or instant pay for non tipped employees, they would call the restaurant in the morning to see if they could pick up a shift because they knew that they could get paid immediately when they were done and now go get a tank of gas or a bag of groceries. So it really changed the dynamic of decreased absenteeism to now employees soliciting work because they wanted to pick up some more money, and it was instant. So that's really been the rise of earned wage access, is in enabling it for a class of people who need it and
Mm-hmm.
can't afford it, and we give it to them for free because it is their money.
And I think I'd love to talk a little bit more about this, David, because we all know that oftentimes those entry level jobs are the least paying jobs. So they are oftentimes working paycheck to paycheck. And so because they're working paycheck to paycheck, the ability for them to get access to it. The other thing that a lot of the national publications have talked about is a lot of people during the pandemic and otherwise left the restaurant industry because we weren't doing this. And DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats and Amazon did offer this option to be able to go work a shift today and get paid today. Talk to me about how this kind of levels the playing field for what has traditionally been a very open entry level job. You started as a busboy in high school, turned into a global vice president because of the opportunities to do that. And I know that we've lost a lot of that. And I think that instant and tools like it have the ability to bridge that gap, whereas we didn't a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think what makes it really important, especially for somebody like me, or as we mentioned, these jobs are not very high paying because they are entry level. Imagine this world. You go to a job where they pay $12 an hour, but then you go to another job and apply and they pay $12.50 an hour across the street. If this $12 job, $12 an hour job offers me daily pay and I can take my money when I need it and handle life, that means a lot more to me with 50 cents less an hour than taking the job that gets paid 50 cents more an hour because I can't access my cash. I'm going to have late fees. I'm going to run behind on my bills. So there is a competitive advantage to being able to offer earned wage access. And as an employee, they are looking for that. And
Mm-hmm.
as an example, over the past 8 years, we have done a survey of 1,000 employees at a minimum every year, and we've asked them about when they would like their money and how they would like their money. As we would imagine, since 2020, it has continued to go up and to the right to the tune of 86% of employees would work for a place and prefer to work for a place where they are paid daily. With Uber, Amazon, all those things that you just mentioned, that is the rise in just the adoption of this new technology. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as evident by their success over the past 4 years and the introduction of it to the market, now more people are going to restaurant operators and other service industries and saying, hey, I know what they're doing over there. Do you offer that here? Because it is a compelling benefit for an employee.
Absolutely, and even retailers, I've seen more and more retailers and grocers going that same route, where it's like they're having to compete for that same entry level job, where whether I'm a checker at a grocery store or I'm working retail. And again, to that same argument, $12, 12.50. If I as a brand can offer access to that wage, I'm now, it's less about it's shift, it's management, it's all of that, but it's also this is a compelling reason to consider that, even if you're not paying that extra 50 cents, but I got to wait 2 weeks for my pay.
And this is a great place to work. If you're going to work at Dave's Restaurant Bar and Grill, not only is this a great place to work and we want to treat you well, but we're going to give you this great benefit because we care about you as a person. This will allow you to take your money if you want it. If you don't want it, you don't have to take it. But if
Yep.
you need the money, you have it, it's yours, it's free, and you can go handle life's daily challenges. So that was the precipice, for instance, which was earned wage access and being able to give everybody their money. What we found out in talking with hospitality operators was they loved earned wage access, but the real pain point was distribution of tips,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And there's a lot of noise that goes around managing a tips process. And we have the technology that eliminates the noise, streamlines operations, and obviously makes our servers or tipped employees very happy.
Yeah, no, and I want to dig a little bit into that, but I'd love for you to help the naysayers out there because
Okay.
I literally was
Oh,
just at a brand on Monday and they go, why am I going to give them access to their pay today? One, it's got to go out of my account. Number two, what happens if they didn't punch out properly and they start playing games and then you get these questions. You have to deal with these restaurant operators every day. Talk me through the things that people are constantly asking because that's what I hear is I don't want to pay them. What happens if the manager didn't do his job properly or whatever? I know that you guys have got safeguards in for all of that. I know that a lot of those things come up in every one of your conversations. So talk people down off the wall that says not only is it compelling to onboard people and bring people and keep people, but there's also protections for the brand that you guys put in place to ensure that doesn't happen.
yeah, I love that question. I actually just got this question from a very large enterprise company. They have over 500 locations. And we were talking about earned wage access. And they said, Dave, we're already doing the digital tips. We love that. We're not really ready to jump into earned wage access because we're honestly a little afraid of it. Every time we bring it
Mhm.
up, somebody will bring up a con, and then the conversation just ends. And I said, I completely understand that. Instant financial and enabling wages to an employee does not make a person irresponsible all of a sudden. Okay. A person who is irresponsible is going to destroy themselves no matter what.
Yes.
So when we give you money, we're not making you irresponsible. And as mentioned, we're only giving you small amounts of liquidity, 50% of your earned wages for that day. So the average earned wage or instant pay that is taken is only $35. Now, it would be selfish for an employee and not looking very long term. It would be very short sighted if they just took their $35, declared independent wealth, and quit their job. It's
Yes.
not. It's a tank of gas, it's a bag of groceries. If they want more instant pay, they do have to come back to work, they have to clock in, they have to clock out correctly, and we will send them another offer. If
Hmm.
they fail to clock in or clock out correctly, it is void and they will not get an offer. So it is good for the employee and for the business because now punch compliance will become better. I know if I want to get paid today, I need to clock out and I need to clock in and I need to clock out. So, from an employee standpoint, they know what they need to do in order to get their funds for free. For the business's aspect, there's nothing that they need to do. They merely
Yeah.
just offer this great benefit and say, hey, if you would like to get paid, you merely just accept the offer and there's no barriers to earn your money and you can do whatever you want. And
Well, and the flip side, I know you said it in the description, they also don't have to take it. If they choose not to take it today, it sits there in abeyance and it'll hit their paycheck at the end of the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, whatever your pay periods are. It's going to hit their paycheck regardless, whatever's the balance, whether that's 100% of their wages or just the 20% or 30% of those wages, correct? And now a word from one of our sponsors. Every restaurant operator understands the chaos of a restaurant kitchen during the meal rush. Restaurant Technologies Total Oil Management Solutions is an end-to-end automated oil management system that delivers, filters, monitors, and recycles your cooking oil, taking the dirtiest jobs out of your kitchen and letting your employees focus on more important tasks. Control the kitchen chaos with Restaurant Technologies and make your kitchen safer. No upfront cost. To learn more, check out rti-inc.com or call 888-796-4996.
that is absolutely correct. So if I decide every day I get offers and I don't want any of them, those offers will expire because you only get one offer a day. That offer will expire. It will come on your paycheck. In order for you to come to get another offer, you'll have to clock in, clock out, and then you will get another offer. But again, if you want it, it's there. But if you don't, it all just comes on your paycheck, just like regular.
Yeah. And so, what are my options to access that cash?
Oh,
Because oftentimes they're less banked. You talked about the Visa card that you guys issue. So, I'd love for them to understand on the wage side, because I think it's going to really flow through to tips just the same. But if I'm now, hey, I need my 35 bucks to go get gas, how do I get that? Because it's all this digital voodoo magic that nobody knows how any of that works. So, talk us through, how do I get access to that as a busser, as a bartender, as a cocktail waitress, whatever?
yeah. So once an employee is paid, they're paid to the Instant Financial app. And from there, they have many levers in how they want to control and spend their cash. It is paired to a Visa debit card. It's just like any other Visa debit card in your wallet or in my wallet. It has the exact same protections and benefits. When they're paid to the mobile app, it is mobile banking. They can see their balance, they can see all of their transactions. They can go spend on the Visa card, just like you or I can. They don't want to use the Visa card, they can provision a digital card and just do tap to pay if they want that. If they don't want to use instant and they would like to transfer to their home bank account, we allow unlimited free transfers. So we're not holding their money hostage. If you'd like to spend it on our platform, we give you the tools to do that. If you would like to transfer it off, you can do that as well. If you'd like to go to the ATM and take money out, we have 37,000 ATMs in our network, which is the MoneyPass network. We are in all 50 states and we've never had any problems with coverage. Employees can go there, take out cash at their discretion, all for free. And of course, they can go to a bank, any Visa member bank. And this is very useful because sometimes employees need $720.14 for rent. And you can't get that out of an ATM. So you can
Hmm.
go to a Visa member bank and say, "Hi, I would like $714.20 so I can pay rent," and they will give you your money for free. So once they're paid, the employee has all the options and all the levers to pull as to what they want to do with their funds, and it's all fee free to the employee.
Love that. One other piece that I just know comes up from time to time is non-traditional banking, Venmo, PayPal. Are you guys supporting that at this point? Because again, same demographic. I've got a sister who's in her 20s, and she's just, yeah, I use Venmo for almost everything, and she keeps a balance on her Venmo account. I'm like, this is just baffling to me because I'm a normal, not normal. I am a traditionally banked person that uses a national bank and kind of deals with that way. But for her, the majority of what she does is on Venmo between her friends and such. And do you guys support those kind of pieces?
Yes, absolutely. We designed our system so that we're not holding money hostage and the employee can do whatever they want with it. So yes, Venmo, Cash App, Uber Eats, all of that stuff. So
That's great.
we are now living in a digital world. People are paying with credit, debit, they're moving everything digitally. We want to give everything to the employee so that they can do whatever they want and enable whatever they want. If an employee is using the instant financial card, they can use it freely just like anyone else. If somebody, and this is the other great thing, if somebody doesn't qualify for a card with other companies because they're not 18, they're a minor, they're a hostess, they've got bad credit, they don't have a social security number, or they don't qualify for a pay card, when we work with a business, we take all of their employees because we verify the business. So we're allowed to have minors. We're allowed to have people that wouldn't otherwise have a bank account or are underbanked or unbanked at all. So
Mhm.
when we go to large enterprises, they're like, "Oh, can you cover all of our employees?" Yes, we can cover 100% of your employees.
I love that. And it's amazing, quite frankly. I heard some statistics about the underbanked or the unbanked in the US. The number is staggering when you think about it. And it's mostly in the service industry that you guys live in every day. It's the guy that's the busser, it's the dishwasher, it's the cook, it's the bartender, it's the bar back that are underbanked or unbanked at all. And again, I think it's baffling because again, in my purview where I'm at in my mid 40s, like I've had a bank account since I was 15, but I know there's a lot of people that don't. And as I've read the statistics, it's amazing to think about. And I think a lot of people that are listening, you may or may not, if you're not at the ground level any longer dealing with these types of team members, there are a lot of them that can't get a bank account, don't know how to get a bank account, have never gotten a bank account, and they would take their paycheck and walk into a cash loan place to cash it out or take it to the grocery store to cash it out or whatever those things might be. And it's amazing to me what flexibility you guys allow people to have in that regard.
Yeah, and for an hourly employee, I don't have a bank account, I don't qualify. Wow, I can work here. You're going to pay me. I have mobile banking. This is all free for me. We're just giving them levers. Like it's expensive to be poor. Okay?
Yes.
To the for the reasons you just mentioned. Like they give me my bank account for free. But for other people, if they don't meet the requirements of all the boxes for getting a free bank account, your bank will be kind enough to charge you $9.99 to $20 a month. Okay.
Yep.
I have credit cards, so I can put stuff on credit. I can have access to cash. But for other people, if they don't have access to that, they start getting into predatory networks. So we wanted to eliminate all of that. Let's give the employee their money. They earned it, no games. And let's
Yep.
create a great relationship for the business and the employee. If we take care of the employee, what happens? The employees will take care of the business, and the business takes care of itself.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Now, you dabbled in the tip world, so, some percentage of and it feels like more and more every day. We've got everybody sitting in front of a machine, it's asking them for 18, 22, and 25% tips all day long. But it's a disaster to manage that. It is really hard. Quite frankly, I worked with Outback when you guys built your whole tip module years ago with PosiTouch. So I'm very familiar with even the Outback tip module that you guys had. I was part of some of those conversations long ago. It also gets complex, but why is it such a disaster to manage that within the brands, especially in a digital first world where most people are in the 70, 80, 90% digital payments world? Some brands are 100% digital and they don't accept cash at all. But being able to keep a living wage for your staff members, we're asking the guest to tip, but it's a huge burden on the restaurateur to get that money and get it distributed. And unless you're working in a really high end, a Fleming's, back to Bloomin' Brands, unless you're working in a Fleming's where these people are making a whole significant amount of money and it goes into their paycheck, it's hard to do that. So talk me through how it is before Instant, and then why does Instant on the tip side really solve so many of those challenges for people?
Yeah, so I'll go backwards before we go forwards, and I'll talk a little bit about from an employee standpoint what the experience is like. So I'll use Outback as an example of when I was a busser. So I would work my shift, things were calculated, money was grabbed out of the tip drawer, it was stuffed into envelopes, and they wrote my name on it. The next day I would come to work in my shorts and my flip flops. I'd walk around in the kitchen. I'd stop the manager from whatever they were doing so that they could go into the office, open the safe, give me my tip share.
Yep.
I then signed a log, a physical log saying I
Yep.
got my money, and I went home. That's how it was for many years because that's just how we did it. The other side of that coin, before we get into the complications, is as a guest, when you leave that credit card tip, it's not magic. Somebody has to convert that little number you left under tip, they have to convert that to cash and then distribute it to me.
Yep.
Okay. Where does that cash come from? As you just mentioned, and according to McKinsey, in the most recent year, in hospitality, it is 89% credit or debit card transactions. So that means there is less cash coming into the restaurant. And if there's less cash coming into the restaurant doesn't have the cash on hand to convert that little credit card tip to cash and then give it to you. So what does the restaurant have to do? Somebody has to walk to the bank, drive to the bank, get money, come back to the restaurant, count it, put it back into the safe, then put it into envelopes and distribute it.
Mhm.
That's the easy way. It gets more expensive and takes more time if you choose not to send your manager to the bank and you decide you want to use an armored car service. Most enterprise restaurants get 2 deliveries a week. Some non-enterprise, smaller restaurants might get 1 delivery a week. The point being is you're paying an armored car $100 to $150 a stop, okay, just to bring you change so that you can convert that credit card tip to cash.
Mhm.
So, an employee, I am inconvenienced by coming to get my money. From the business's standpoint, it is time consuming and costly for me to convert this credit card tip to cash. Okay.
Yep.
So, what do we do with Instant? Let's digitize this process. Our customers are paying us digitally. Let's follow their suit and pay our employees digitally. So now, Dave Alvarado, I work my busser shift. I don't have to come back the next day. I don't have to interrupt anybody. I don't have to sign any logs because that money will be sent to me digitally at the end of the shift, whenever Outback or whoever finishes it. And I will get a notification on my phone and it says, I just got paid. And then from there, I can go do whatever I want. I love it.
Yeah,
From an
similar to what we
employer,
just talked about. I can transfer my bank account, I can take it out in cash, but now instead of all of it, because again, to your point on the example, and inevitably that busser shows up right at 12:30 in the middle of the lunch rush saying, I need my money because I'm going out of town. And now they've got to stop their shift versus it all happening in a digital world. You had talked about 90%, close to 90%. That's baffling to me. I guess it all makes sense. And I don't, I have a money clip with cash in it and it's had the same amount of money in it. Other than my kids' sporting events that I have to go to pay cash, I literally spend almost nothing in cash. Almost everything's in a digital way. And so I'm one of those customers that pays 100% of my restaurant checks in credit, and I do that tip. What are you seeing from people? Because I know a lot of the high end places have just added their tips to their paychecks. Like at least working in the POS space, like we do, a lot of them have done that. Are you finding that's the way to go, or is a lot of people just are saying, you know what, let's add on the tip module? Because you said that was really the game changer and where a lot of the pain. Earned wages is great, but quite frankly, especially in a highly tipped where that's a large percentage of their income, the tips move the needle quite a bit for you guys at Instant.
Yeah, absolutely. Tips just bring the biggest bang. It eliminates all the noise for the restaurant operators, and you just pay everything digitally. Now there's logs, there's no running to the bank. I don't have to spend money on armored cars, and the employees paid free, and the restaurant operator now they don't have to all those things we just mentioned, and no more distractions, and everything's digital. So if somebody's curious if they got paid, they just open up their app and they can see, oh, I got paid $700 for my tips because I had a big party. So everybody's just happier. It's easier for the employee, it's easier for the business. And for large restaurateurs, we'll use Fleming's as an example, or any white tablecloth dining restaurant. Those restaurants go through about $30,000 a week in tips. Okay, that's a huge amount of money. Okay,
Hmm.
they decided to start paying tips on check because it was too much to bring it in, it was too much to count it, and it was too much to distribute it in high
Yep.
volume, heavy tipped restaurants. So they went to checks. We have been undoing that for the past 4 years. So high-end restaurants or people that didn't want to manage the process, and they said, I'm gonna get rid of all of the tips complexity and I'm gonna pay it all on check. Cool.
Yep.
Now we've come back to them and said, hey, we can undo that and we can pay your people instantly and your employees will be happy and you guys will be happy. And they said, let's do that. Some people jump on it really quickly. Other people don't have a problem because maybe they pay it on check, but we can help them to undo the check and start paying their employees immediately and giving them that instant gratification, which, let's be honest, that's why everybody works in the restaurant business, is so
Yeah.
that we can get money and we can go do what we want to go do. And when you say it's being paid on a check, you're robbing me of that instant gratification. So we've had a lot
I
of
would have had a hard time working in restaurants because I used to love walking away with 100, $200 in my pocket. And it was my food money for that night. It was my drinking money. Like it was what you did. And David, you talked a little bit in our pre show about kind of the next phase. And I know that both of these things are amazing. And I think that more restaurants, if they're not already dealing with it, have to do this. But one of the things that you guys also believe is the employee health, I guess, is a really big piece. And I don't even financial health, health in general, because it is that level. And so you guys have released a newer product that I think is really great to help restaurant operators again be one of those places that you want to come work because of these things. Talk a little bit about what your guys' other investments to really help the employees and the people that are using the instant financial network it's helping them do.
Yeah. So, having the ability of being able to get wages daily is awesome. And that is financial wellness. Okay. I can get some money to go take care of whatever I need to. But it's not getting to the root or to the academics of the issue, which is we need to provide tools to our cardholders, the business's team members, to educate them on how to handle their money more effectively. So we have financial education tools inside of the app so that they can see how to create a budget and how to save for a car. Now, giving them money when they need it is step one. Step two is let's now give them some of the financial literacy so that we can step them up even further. So that's really the baseline of it is let's give them money, let's give them some education. The third part of that is employees pay a lot of rent. They don't have the ability to, or they don't get credit for paying their rent at the 3 credit bureaus across the country. So with our app, an employee who pays rent can report their rent and have it show up on their credit report so that they can build credit. Let's give them their money, let's teach them, and let's give them the tools to start building their credit. Let's let them take credit for what they're already doing. We also have health and wellness. For a lot of part time employees in the hospitality world, if they work below 28 hours, they will not be offered health insurance.
Hmm.
With our app, they have the benefit of getting health and wellness benefits. Telemedicine for a small fee a month. You can see a doctor. You can get discounts on prescription medicine. You can do the things that you need to do that you otherwise would not have been able to do if you didn't have instant financial and this great tool. And last but not least, once you get all these steps in place, we have a high yield savings account, which is up to 4%, which is very impressive. That's what my bank offers me with all the boxes that I need to check of minimum balances. But yes, we can pay them daily, we can teach them, we can help them with their credit, we can help them with insurance, but we can also give them a place where they can put their funds and have them grow their money. So we believe that this is a life cycle. Let's get people on board. Let's enable them with their funds when they need it for free. And then let's give them all of these tools so that we can set them up on a better path of financial wellness.
Yeah, no, and I love that. I love that idea because it ultimately, at the end of the day, it also takes the burden off the restaurant brand to have to do that, because unfortunately a lot of times they lose employees because they can't get to work, they can't get the car, and so they end up missing a shift and they can't find somebody to fill it. The manager's tired of it, they don't have access to the cash. But now, once I've got their ear that they know that they're at a safe place, that they can get access to their wages, now they can get to that next level of financial independence that a lot of us are looking for when we start in the restaurant. But schools don't teach it. Oftentimes the home doesn't have those skills in a lot of these places. And so how does the restaurant offer even more value to them to take them to the next level? And so I love that you guys are offering that.
And that's the premise of it. I mean, I don't want to say we're for all mankind, but we really are coming. We're trying to provide a benefit for the people who need it most, and also providing a benefit for the business.
Mhm.
Business, lots of efficiencies, save you money, streamline operations. But for the employee, the most important part, let's give them what they need when they need it and give them tools to put them in a better position.
I think it's amazing. What did we miss, if anything, David, from today's conversation? I feel like I could talk to you forever about this
Yeah.
stuff because I am so passionate about the restaurant industry and ensuring that restaurant operators and the people that work in the space just can live an amazing life. It's given me an amazing life. It's given you an amazing life, it sounds. And so, what else did we miss, if anything?
So I would say this to my restaurant operators out there: earned wage access, great tool for your cooks, employees, tips, tipped employees. We got it. Okay. People often ask, earned wage access, I don't know if I want to give my employees their money, my money. What if they quit, so on and so forth, or I can't recover it? The great thing about Instant when we partner with you is we advance our capital. It's not the business's capital. We see how much the employee worked. We know how much they're going to make. We advance the capital on the behalf of the business, and we recoup our capital outside of the payroll process. And what that means is somebody at payroll at Dave Alvarado's Mexican restaurants, they don't know how much Dave borrowed. They don't know how much I owe. They process payroll like normal. They send net to the employee. We recoup our funds at that moment and remit net to the employee minus any advances, all for free. So the restaurant doesn't have to worry about keeping track of who got what money. They just need to make sure that they provide a great place for their employees to work, because we advance our capital and we recoup our capital. So
Yeah,
just another
that's
reason
amazing.
is to not, no reason to be afraid of earned wage access. It's our money, and the money that we're giving to your employees is just small amounts of liquidity so that they can handle life's daily challenges.
That's amazing. How do people get in touch with you? How do people get in touch with your team? How do they take the next step? Because again, very compelling story. I think, to your point, every restaurant at least needs to be looking into it, because if you're not, your neighbor next door is, and unfortunately, you're going to lose that high talented employee potentially over 50 cents an hour, or over the fact that you're not offering this opportunity.
Yeah, so I would definitely say restaurateurs, if they've been slow to get on this, I would do it now. In the past 7 years, the hospitality industry has been slow to adopt this. But with the way the economy is going and people looking for efficiencies and hiring, this is now becoming a must have benefit. And the reason why I say that is chain restaurants above 500 locations are all going to be offering this within the next 12 to 18 months. So
Hmm.
if you're a regional player or a local operator, that's what you're going to be competing with. So it's in your best interest to have a solution like Instant Financial. They're more than welcome to go to our website, not.com.co. You can go ahead and fill out a form, schedule a demo, and somebody from my team will reach out to you and we will walk you through everything entirely.
Yeah, and I think it's really funny. I don't even know if it's one of your customers, but I was in dining at a restaurant and I saw a help wanted sign, and part of their help wanted sign said same day access to your pay, and I was like, you know what? That is something that's going to draw people's attention, because it's not the same as everybody else had, and so it is definitely a differentiator.
It is compelling. People who need their money, when they see something like that, they're going to be drawn towards it. And that's what we're hearing from our clients and our cardholders. 86% of people would prefer to work for an employer that offers daily pay so that employees can take advantage of that benefit. And that has consistently gone up over the past 5 years.
Well, David, thank you so much for sharing more about what Instant's doing. Thank you guys for really the founding of the company, what it is that you guys are doing, and how you guys are changing the lives. Obviously, you changed a lot of lives at Outback and at the Bloomin' side, and now continuing that through this instant journey. So thank you for that. To our listeners, guys, like I said at the onset, I know you guys have got lots of choices. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the show, give it a rating on your favorite podcast player, and make it a great day.